need to share. Let's start with the prayers first of all. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Okay, so I think the way I will go today is we will go everything that has gone so far before Jivan Mukta. So that we will keep for tomorrow. But everything, the whole vision, I want to cover. So let us look into what did Tattvabodha talk about. So first of all, what is this text about? It is about Tattva, the reality. What is the reality? It talks to us about non-duality as the reality. Why? Because, so first of all, Swamiji showed us there is a problem in life. We are facing with problem in life. And the only solution to that is looking things rightly. So that fundamental error that we are making, Swamiji pointed that out. And the text, the way it went was, it unfolded the tattva before us by making us understand the errors, wherever the errors we are making, by making us identify those errors, drop those errors, and then discover the underlying truth. So, what does Vedanta say? What is the Mahavakya of Vedanta? Tattvamasi. So that alone is unfolded here by presenting to us the various prakriyas, the various models, and we are being shown, essentially we are being shown, the prime message is that right now, as I perceive myself, there is error at all three levels, at the individual level, at the level of creation, how I see, and at the level of creator. I see all of these differently from what they are, from what the reality is. And so the purpose of this text is to show, to unfold the reality of all the three. And in doing so, it is making us see how one non-dual alone appears as all three. Because of a different standpoint we are currently having with respect to this individual upadhi, and that's why our perception of everything we see is from a standpoint, and the text wants us to drop that standpoint so that we can see that underlying reality. So the way the text unfolds is it goes through the Tvam-pada Shodhanam. It goes through who are you? Who are you, the Jiva? That is being unfolded first. How? By the negation prakriya. What are you not? Hey, you think in this what you call you, in this what I call prachi, you think that you are body, you think you are mind, you think you are intellect, you think you are ego, you think that you are a khichdi of all this. So first and foremost, this Tvam-pada Shodhanam, what they call, is dropping out, separating the two. That Atma Anatma Viveka alone is Tvam-pada Shodhanam, so that we can clearly see who that consciousness, unchanging aspect is. So by Tvam-pada Shodhanam, the author is leading us to that unchanging reality of ourselves. It makes us drop identification with the gross body, the subtle body, and the causal body. Then there is a different way of looking as well. It makes us drop the identification with the waking uh, dream with the uh, waking dream and with the deep sleep. So with the three avastha, it makes us drop that particular role, that I am not just the waker, I am not just the dreamer. I am present in all, but I am not limited to that. I pervade all the roles, but I'm not limited to just being a waker. Why? Because if I was just a waker, then waker is not dreamer, dreamer is not sleeper. Waker excludes dreamer. Uh, when can dream happen? Only when it excludes, when it comes out of the waking state, when it withdraws from the waking state. When can sleep happen? When it withdraws from the dream state. So the waker, dreamer, sleeper are different roles. Like, uh, like a woman has different role, like mother, wife, daughter. These are different roles. Only when the woman withdraws from these individual roles and responsibilities, then she discovers her real self. Similarly, this unchanging Tvampada is pervading in all three, but it is not limited to those. If it was limited to waking, it would be it would exclude the other state. Drop it if I confuse with the last statement. But so that was the avastha traya viveka. So Tvampada Shodhanam is done in threefold ways by Shariratraya Viveka, Avasthatraya Viveka, and Pancha Kosha Atita. So the five sheath, the different notion, how I look at myself. Who is Prachi? I look at, okay, Prachi is that person who is 5 feet 2 inches tall, or Prachi is that person who has studied this. However, I look, identify with myself, all those notions are dropped in this process of Panchakosha Viveka. So that was all Tvampada Shodhanam, that who am I not? What is Anatma? So that part was dropped, negation part, and then who am I? That part was also shown, that I am Sat Chit Anand. Uh, and that was explained. Sat is that which cannot be negated, that which remains unchanging in all period of time. That was the definition given. So by this Tvampada Shodhanam, we dropped in this complex khichdi, we separated the rice and the dal, and we arrived at this understanding that I am Sat, I am the unchanging, who is there even when during the waking state, who is there even during the dream state, who is there even in this deep sleep state. Because when I wake up, I remember myself that I slept well, or I didn't sleep well, however it may be. So, so I am that unchanging reality. This is the Tvampada Shodhanam. Then the text goes on to talk about creation uh, and creator. So Tattvapada is being explained. So whenever there is explanation about or discussion about creation, it is generally talking about Ishvara or Jagat Karanam. So creator and creation always goes together. So that is Tatpada unfoldment. So it talked about Tvampada, then Tatpada, and so there in the creation, how it was shown that one alone, that was the emphasis, one alone, how it manifests as many. That was the emphasis, and for that Panchikaranam process was described. how one Brahman alone, with the upadhi of Maya, it manifests as Akash, as a five subtle elements, and then that five subtle elements, they from the five subtle elements, all the what is made, the indriyas, right, Gnanendriya, etc., are made, and then that goes through grossification, and from that this gross body and the gross objects that we perceive are being created. So again, this is a model to show. Important thing in this model is how one Brahman alone manifests as many. Again, this is a prakriya, and then it went on to uh, make us understand uh, Jiva and Ishvara, the difference between Jiva and Ishvara. Why do we have this perception of Jiva and Ishvara? Why do we think the creator is different from me? So it is purely from the standpoint of Upadhi, when the consciousness, the unchanging consciousness, the Tvampada Shodhanam we did, the same unchanging consciousness, when it is identified or when it is conditioned by avidya, or what we call ignorance, then it exhibits itself as jiva. It takes itself to be limited to this body mind sense complex. And when the same consciousness, same pure consciousness, which we call Brahman, is identified with total uh, avidya, which is called Maya, which is the technical term, then it is called Ishvara. Only difference is with this individual ignorance, I am limited, I am controlled by ignorance, I am controlled by avidya, whereas this Maya Upadhi, the total ignorance of everything, does not control Ishvara. Ishvara holds Maya. It's Ishvara's Shakti. Jiva gets controlled by avidya. Ishvara is free from the hold of Maya. So with that background, why not we dive into the Sanskrit part so that we understand everything. So I just wanted to go over the series of how the text went. Now I just want you to also have this in background, that Tattvabodh is taught by our author Shankaracharya ji, Bhagwan Ashikar Maharaj, who has this vision. What is the vision when he is talking about Tattvabodh? Non-duality. What is non-duality? Just as if in my hand there is pot and um, what is there in pot? Space. So the space in the pot thinks I'm limited to this pot. But is space limited? No. Space is what? It's not limited. It is dimensionless. It accommodates. So when we look at Maha Akash, when we look at sky, we don't see space as limited. But the space in this pot thinks it is limited. So this Tattvamasi, what does it do? The space in the pot who thinks that I am limited and that sky, that Ishvara sky is different from me, I have to merge in that Ishvara sky. This limited spot space, has to merge in that Mahakasha. That is being taught. Tat Tvam Asi. So that Mahakasha, hey pot space, you are that Mahakasha. So there is no limiting factor of Upadhi called pot space. Stop giving reality to pot. Stop giving reality to name and form. Change your vision. Shift your identity. And then your understanding will change. This is what Bhashyakar, this is what the author wants to convey us. This is how he wants to convey us. So this is what the intention is. So now let us go into the Sanskrit part. So It started with this sadhan chatushtaya sampatti, that hey, I'm going to talk to you regarding this tattva, but it is a very subtle thing. It is not like a story that I will tell you a story and you'll understand it. There is some qualification of mind required. There is some preparation of mind required. And for that, before I talk to you regarding this tattva, I am going to talk to you regarding this uh, fourfold qualification, which is essentially preparation of mind. Um, why is this being told? Because all through our journey, we need to not only have this preparation of mind, we also need to make this mind more and more mature. So, more of these sadhana we continue to develop, more the chitta shuddhi will happen, and more this reality will become uh, uh, more the clarity in this vision, and more the abidance. Like that example of Polaroid camera, like yes, we have developed a good picture after studying this, but more we develop that Viveka, Vairagya, Shamadhi, Shatka Sampatti, more our mind is at poise, more we don't react in situations, more there is samatva, that we can handle everything. Harsha as well as shoka, no elation and no depression. We can handle it. Then more we will be able to look at things objectively, uh, because it is the mind that we have to look objectively here. It is not some phone that we have to look objectively, that hey, I'm different from this phone. Here it is my own thought that I always have to introspect and create a distance from my own thoughts. From what I call I have to create a distance. And so this sadhana chatushtaya sampatti was talked about. So what are the sadhana chatushtaya sampatti? Viveka, Vairagya, Shamadhi, Shatka Sampatti, and Mumukshutva. So, Vivekah kaha, Nitya, Anitya, Vastu, Vivekah, that is Vivekah. So, that will be talked about later. So, okay. And what is Vairagya talked about here? Uh, so, what is Viveka? What is Nitya Vastu? And what is Anitya Vastu? That is being talked about as Viveka. So, what is permanent and what is impermanent? You first figure out that in life so that you get a good direction. Your car is going in the wrong direction. Make sure your car is going towards the destination. Make sure you understand what is Nitya and what is Anitya. That is the whole prayojanam intent of this Nitya Anitya Viveka. Then moves on. Viragah, iha amutrartha phala bhoga. So, what is it? Vairagya, dispassion towards enjoyment in the bhoga. Uh, if if I fall short of words, people can interrupt and remind me. uh, So, any enjoyment, any connection I have, any desire I have, that yes, I want to enjoy the pleasures in this world or the world after, from that I have dispassion. How come I have dispassion for that? Because I have Viveka, because I have this understanding of what is Nitya in life, what is Anitya in life. Therefore, it matures itself and into Vairagya. Then, Shamadhi Shatka Sampatti. It is the mindset. I think Rachita ji had given very good summaries. So you can jump in whenever I am falling short. But tomorrow will also be a good question session. So Shamadhi Shatka Sampatti, Shama is mastery of mind. That okay, your mind has a tendency to react, etc. So now change your thinking process. In a certain situation, when certain people come, your mind reacts in a certain way. stop it. You deliberately make your mind change its thinking pattern. That is shamaha. Well, you are trying to do it, but it is not happening. And what do I do? Damaha. Even though in your mind there is anger, you don't let it come and don't let it express itself. That is daman. Don't let it express through your sense organs. Then what is it? Shamadhi Shatka Sampatti Mumukshutvam. I think we should go. Mumuksha is the desire for freedom. Okay. So Viveka kaha nitya anitya vastu Viveka kaha nitya vastu ekam Brahma. That Brahma alone is permanent and everything Tattvyatiriktam Sarvam Anityam. Everything other than Brahma is Anityam. So when Ayameva Nitya Anitya Vastu Viveka. Here in Swamiji's notes, that Tattvabodha, that booklet which I keep on sharing, the English one, uh, he has written very well that uh, what the seeker is understanding at this point is just the impermanence that he is experiencing through all his experiences. That is the highlight, that he is seeing everything, that I am experiencing various happiness, but they are not lasting happiness. That impermanence in all the happiness that he is, experiencing, whether it be going to the party or whether it be going enjoying my time with family, whatever, it is there. He's not denying that happiness, but it is not staying, it is not lasting, and then there is always interruption. So he's seeing that impermanence in those happiness that comes from vastu, bakya vastu, from objects. uh, then what is Nityam? Nityam is something else. He knows that there is something called Nitya, there is something called permanent, and that is something called Brahman or Bhagavan. He has a vague idea. He doesn't know what Brahman is, but he has this much understanding that what I'm experiencing is a Nityam, but there is something Nitya, and that may be in his understanding Bhagavan, a form of Bhagavan, something, but Asti, Nityam Asti. It is not that there is nothing permanent. There is something called Nityam that may be defined in different languages, different views as per his understanding. Important thing is whatever I'm experiencing is anitya. So now the car, which was going in the wrong direction, from there it will make an about turn once he has this understanding of nitya, anitya, viveka. Then viragah kaha, we said, iha swarga bhogeshu ichcha rahityam. That I do not desire for bhoga, for pleasures in this world or in other world. Why? Because I have determined, my viveka is firm. What? That anitya vastu, all these are anitya vastu. The bhoga in this lok, in this world or in other world are what? Are anitya. This viveka is very firm. How? We can ask that question. How come we can ask that question, but we can park that question as well, because otherwise we won't move. Uh, that is very well explained in Mundaka Upanishad. But right now we will just keep it to Nitya. Otherwise we won't move forward. So this is Vairagya, that I don't, the pleasures in this world and the other world, it cannot give me permanent happiness. This much understanding. And Vairagya is just an attitude, it is not an action. Vairagya is an attitude which comes from this firm understanding that this is all anitya. Then Shama, then the next stage is the preparation of mind is in terms of Shamadhi, Sadhana, Sampatti, Kaha, Shamo, Damaha, Uparamaha, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhanam, cha iti. Okay. What is Shamaha? Shamaha kaha? Mano nigraha. The mastery of mind is Shamaha. So, like I said, to not react. People, situation may come, but we change our thought process so that our mind doesn't go to the old rut. That is Shamaha. But there is, I can't do anything about it. So, what do I do? Damaha kaha. Then you do Damaha. Damaha kaha chakshuradi bahyendriyah nigrahah. So you do control over your sense organs. Don't let your anger, etc., emotions get expressed through your sense organs. This is damaha. Okay. Then uparamaha kaha. Okay. What is the third? This Samadhi Shatka Sampatti, third element. Swadharma Anushtanam Eva. Doing one's own duty. So, in Swamiji's language, doing what is right and not necessarily what I like. That is Uparamaha. Why is it called Uparamaha? Uparamaha, there was a different definition given when we were studying this. So, I can ask that different definition tomorrow. But what does Swadharma Anushtana do? It lets you, or it tells you, or it makes you give up uh, your likes and dislikes, and in the process your mind becomes purer. There is purity achieved. Rachita ji, do you have another definition?
Was the renunciation of all actions, right?
Uparamaha, that was yeah, that was
Alternate. Yeah.
that was the alternative. Yes, yes.
Usually, upa means near, right?
Upa means near as well. But we have to see how this Uparamaha, yeah, yes, Uparamaha means Upaha Ramanam. So one that dwells in uh, the concept, I guess, is the one that dwells in self. It gets dejected from everything else. That's the concept. Now, this definition is from that yogic prakriya, the Patanjali yoga prakriya. That is the definition that follows. Here in Tattvabodha, it is described as Swadharma Anushtana Eva. And so it is a difficult definition to understand this state of mind. Okay, by doing one's duty, what you attain as uparama, what is that state? So then Swamiji explained in this his notes in the Tattvabodha book that what happens is during Swadharma Anushtana, you have to follow what is right and not necessarily what I like. So your likes are always dropped, and in that process you achieve the state called uparamaha. Uh, so less involvement in actions. That is also how uparamaha is. Yeah, uparati. That's how uparama or
Just like you said, we have to do the duties. Duties vary at different stages of life. So when we are family, we do the duty towards children and all. But when we are in the vanaprastha, no, our duty is to study and um, to study the sastra and other things. So it is. I mean, in other textbooks, I've read that doing one's own duty.
it yeah, that's essentially following this Tattvabodha, but there are different interpretations of uparamaha as well, which Swamiji gave here itself. So doing one's own duty, I mean, uparamahi is also an effect to what happens by doing one's own duty. So it's not essentially doing one's own duty is uparamaha, but what is achieved by doing one's own duty amounts to uparamaha or uparati. But if anybody can write down this question, we can ask for further clarification to Swamiji on how Swadharma Anushtana will lead to Uparama. What exactly this is? We can get some more clarification in this area. Just somebody note down because I am not noting down right now. So then the next one was Titiksha. So Titiksha ka from for Shama Dama Uparamaha is one couplet, and then Titiksha I think is a independent couplet. It is not linked. Like Shama will lead to Dama, then that those two will lead to Uparamaha. That's the idea. That when will Uparama happen? Only when you have got a certain maturity of Shamaha and Damaha, then it will mature itself into Uparamaha. When can I do Swadharma Anushtana? Hey, when I don't have likes and dislikes. When I have likes and dislikes, it's very hard to do my duties. I react. So for doing my Swadharma, I need to have that poise of mind. So when we are talking of Uparamaha, it is that poise of mind that we are talking about. Uh, so that Uparamaha happens by maturity, which is gained by Shamaha, mastery of mind, Damaha, control of sense organs.
I've written here that through Shama and Dama, we have reached, we would have reached like tranquility of mind. And at that time, it's easier to renunciate. Like by practicing Shama and Dama, mind has become in tune with my understanding of no temptations. Mind has gained willpower, strength, because it's happy with itself, right? When I am free from most of the needs other than basic needs like food, shelter, and water, when I'm free from my emotional needs, then it's easy to prepare for a solo life, kind of withdrawn life.
Yeah, or even focus on whatever you want to focus on. Yeah, I think that's a perfect explanation of what we are trying to understand Uparamaha as. Yeah, good. So yeah, then Titiksha is an independent couplet. It has not anything to do with Uparama, Shamadama. So Titiksha ka Shitoshna Sukha Dukkhadi Sahishnutvam. So in association with this external objects and experiences, the dvandva, that the pairs of opposite that we experience, that we um, we tolerate it uh, gracefully or without any reaction. There was a word used there, um, which I don't remember, but Sahishnu,
Endurance, right?
it is endurance, but whatever we endure is not out of helplessness. That's what I want to convey. Okay, now the light has gone. Now I have to kind of, deal with it. Like I'm helpless in that stage. But no, that's not the attitude for Titiksha. Whatever comes, we just endure it without any uh, virodha, without any
So
retaliation, without
complaining.
any, yeah,
Retaliation, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's the important part, without any retaliation part. Uh, Otherwise, it can damage us when we are
Right. I mean,
helpless.
when we do this, right, kids always ask, why you punishing yourself, mom? Right? It's like you can turn the AC on, you can have the fan on. Why are you punishing yourself?
Yeah.
I think it's going through it, not feeling that it's a punishment, not feeling that it's a retaliation, right? That I can do without it.
It is it it is the attitude, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's an
Yeah.
attitude. With what attitude are you entering or enduring it?
Yeah.
So
Endure without blaming, complaining, right? Yeah. No
Titiksha,
hangover, Swamiji had said.
But Titiksha, I have heard. I don't remember what Swamiji said. But see, Titiksha is like no, we have to walk in the sun, right? It's so hot. So if we can, wherever it is possible to take care of it, like you can have the umbrella and then walk a little comfort. You can do that. It's not stopping us from using the umbrella or things like that. Walk in the shade and all. But in case you cannot do it, there is no other way. Then you try to endure it without complaining or without retaliation. That's what.
Titiksha is generally like, don't complain. That's what it's getting at, because we are living in a world. It is not that always things will happen in accordance with whatever we want. So that is why this quality of Titiksha is needed. That when the pairs of opposite come in front of you, which perhaps you don't like, then you should have that acceptance, ability to endure it, and without retaliation.
Like
Go
Sthita
through it.
Pragna qualities, right?
Like Sthita Pragna quality. So this Titiksha and Uparamaha and Shama and Dama, when it will mature to 100%, that is Sthita Prajna qualities. That is Gnani. That is Mahatma. So we have to understand that, okay, we have to gain our these much preparation of mind, the sadhana chatushtai sampatti enough, so that we are available to understand the Shastra. But even while we are then proceeding to study more and more for the Shastra, we keep on developing these. What will happen is also our understanding of Shastra will make us more mature in these fields. It will encourage us to work on this. And as we continue to work on this, it will help us get that understanding more clearer. So it is, it complements each other.
Yeah. Actually, doing something with our hands, uh, legs, it's so much more easier. Here, it's all the exercise for the mind, it's all internal. That's why you feel like, what do I do? How do I get that jnana, right? I guess these are all the preparatory things. If you really want to do something, start with these Shamadamadi Shatka Sampatti, then you'll get there, because we are always so action driven. What can I do? What can I do to get this? So, if we really, for all the doers, I think this will give you a little bit path towards, okay, I got something to do. Because it's all in understanding, nothing doing. But for me, who is always a doer, I need to do something, right? So I think this is one way of prescription.
Yeah, we need that poise of mind so that we can, when we are told Tattvamasi, then it will click, it will hit. If we are amidst a lot of activities and our mind is going through a lot of planning, etc., then it will not work as effectively as it should. It will not hit the goal as it should. So that's why this preparation, so that we can slowly develop that poise.
Yeah.
So then the next one is very important. Shraddha Kidrushi Guru Vedanta Vakyadishu Vishwasah Shraddha. So without Shraddha, Gnanam cannot happen. We don't question the Vedanta, we don't question the Guru. Meaning we have belief and Shraddha that what is being told to us is right, and you just hold on to that and let the vision unfold. So like infant has Shraddha, how much Shraddha an infant has in, or child has for the mother, the same way we look upon our Guru and Vedanta. So as I said at some point perhaps, that we start with Shruti. And what does Shruti says? Tattvamasi. So that is not our vision right now. What we see is duality, and what the Shruti is telling us is Advaita is the reality. So that's not our experience right now. But still, we start with this Shraddha because our Guruji says so, because Shruti says so, And what is Shruti to us? We treat it as our mother. So we enter this Shastra with this Shraddha, and then things happen, and then it will be possible. Without Shraddha, this Jnanam is not possible. Um, not a lot of things can be said upon Shraddha, but I'm just confining myself right now. Samadhanam kim chitta ekagrata. So that uh, there is no distraction. So like when we do japa, how the mind is doing just one japa, it is just engaged in one thought. So that japa is a good exercise for this samadhana, chitta ekagrata, that I dwell on one thought and retain it. Then my mind is available for the Shastra Vichara, and it can also abide in whatever vision I gain through, through the Vakya of Shastra and Guruji. Then mumukshutvam kim moksho me bhuyad iticha. I want freedom. Simple. So this is but intense desire. I want freedom at the expense of all other desires. That is mumukshutvam. So not like I want yoga as well as bhoga. I want only this. It's like Swamiji says, the example is for Vairagya actually, but we can extend it to moksha as well. How a person's head is on fire and he is running, and is running for what? He wants to shut off that fire. So he is running towards a water body. And somebody gives him an ice cream. Does he care for an ice cream? No, he doesn't care. Well, somebody is eating an ice cream. Would he even look at that person eating an ice cream? No. What does he care for? He just cares for how can I turn this fire off. So it's both an example of Vairagya as well as what his desire is. His desire is to turn off that fire. That is the intensity of mumukshutvam we should have. So, so this much was the fourfold sadhan chatushtaya sampatti. Viveka, Vairagya, then the sixfold Shamadhi Shatka Sampatti, and Mukshutvam. So in Vivek Chudamani, it is said that Vairagya and Mumukshutvam are the most important of all, which will lead to maturity of all the other sadhana. Because Vairagya itself is what? It is the maturity of Viveka. Only when your Viveka has become very mature, it will lead to Vairagya. And when that Vairagyam is mature, then all the rest you will have inclination. How can I get the vision? How can I get the vision? So it will be the pump to work on the Shamadhi, Shatka, Sampatti, etc. It will happen. So if we want to start working on two of their aspects, sadhan, then we can perhaps work on Vairagya and Mumukshutvam. And I mean, of course, everything has to be worked upon Shamadama, etc. as well, because we live in society, we do Vyavahara, and we come across this issue of reacting towards situations. So everything has to be done, but we can try to see if we can make our Viveka Pakka mature and let that Vairagya happen. How can we make our Vairagya mature? By making our Viveka more paripakva, more mature. So by going over again and again what this Nitya Anitya Vastu Viveka is in my life. I mean, I understand, okay, this is Anitya and this is Nitya, but what about me? What are all this in my life? So every time we have to connect all this, and only then all this will become effective. Okay, Done. Sadhan Chatushtaya Sampatti. Now that we have a certain level of Sadhan Chatushtaya Sampatti, what happens? Now the author begins the Tattva Viveka. So, Tattva Vivekah Kah Atma Satyam Tadanyat Sarvam Mithya Iti. So, Tattva Vivekah is what is the reality? Atma alone is Satya. I am the truth, and everything other than me, Atma is I. Atma is not Atma. Atma is not an object. Atma is I. We have to translate it like this. I am the truth. I am Satyam. Everything other than me is Mithya. This is a big sentence, big pratigna vakya that we have to see in our life. Fine. We take it. Shruti says, so we have Shraddha, that whatever the Shruti says is right. So here comes the Shraddha, and we go from there. Then Atma Kaha, then the Atma Anatma Viveka starts from here. Atma Kaha, Sthula Sukshma Karana Sharira Vyatiriktah Panchakoshatitah San अवस्थात्रय साक्षी सच्चिदानंद स्वरूपः सन् यः तिष्ठति सः आत्मा. The one who tishtati, यः तिष्ठति, the one who abides, where in the self, that is sthula sukshma karana sharira vyatirikta. That is different. Vyatirikta different. That is different from sthula sukshma karana sharira. That is different from gross, subtle and causal body. Then panchakoshatita, the one that sees himself as different from, or that transcends all the five kosha, the five sheath, and the one who sees himself as avasthatraya sakshi, as the witness to all the three avastha. And who is this? Is it an existing entity, or are you talking about shunya? No, it is an existing entity. Who is this? This is Satchit Ananda Swarupaha. So, one who sees himself as this, that this I am not, that this, the three Sharira I am not, the Panchakosha I am not, the Avasthatraya I am not, I am their Sakshi. And who am I? I am Satchidananda, the one who is able to do this Viveka and abide in this. That is Atma. This Tattva is Atma. So then it went on to describe what is Sthula Shariraha. So then, what is Sthula Shariraha? Sthula Shariraha Kim? Panchikruta Pancha Mahabhutaihi Krutam Sat Karmajanyam Sukha Dukkhadi Bhogayatanam Shariram Asti Jayate Vardhate Viparinamate Apakshiyate Vinashyati Iti Shadvikara Vadet Vada something. Shadvikara Tat Sthula Shariram. Etat Sthula Shariram. So what is Sthula Shariram? First of all, gross body. Simple. So what is gross body? That which is composed of Pancha Mahabhuta. What kind of Pancha Mahabhuta? Pancha Mahabhuta is 5 elements. That which is composed of 5 elements which are Panchikruta, which are grossified. So that which is composed of grossified Panch Mahabhut, grossified 5 elements, that Panchikruta and Apanchikruta, which is explained a later part in the creation part. So that gross body is the one made up of this 5 element, grossified 5 elements. Sat Karmajanya, which is born on account of some punya of past lives, and Sukha Dukkha Adi Bhoga Ayatanam Shariram. This is an important one. So, what is it made up of? 5 elements. Then what is it? It is Bhoga Ayatanam. It is the abode for experiencing all the experiences like Sukha, Dukkha, hunger, thirst, etc. Where do we experience? This body. It is the gross body where we experience all the experiences. Like Devadatta is living in a house, that house is the abode or house of the abode for Devadatta. Similarly, this Sthula Sharir is the abode for experiencing. Then, what is characteristic of this Sthula Sharir? Asti jayate, vardhate, viparinamate, apakshiyate, vinashyati iti. Shadvikara. What are the Shadvikara? It is being talked about. Asti. We were just talking about this Asti business just a couple of while ago, so I'm just looking into it. So it's not the Asti Bhati Priya Wala Asti. It's not that Asti.
Just as a birth, right?
Birth is
and then
Jayate. Birth
Jayate.
is Jayate. But Asti here is existence in particular form. The Asti Bhati Priya that we understand in consciousness is not limited to a particular form. Asti, there is just existence. Here, where Asti Jayate Vartate Viparinamate Apakshiyate is being talked about, it is existence in a particular form. So this Vrikshaha Asti, then Vrikshaha Jayate. So there is a particular form, first of all. Then that form Jayate. Then there is a birth of that form. Let's say there is an unmanifest form, right? That exists. Then there is, from that unmanifest, there is birth. So what a birth of what? Something that was there in unmanifest state. So that asti jayate, that asti which was existent in a particular form, that alone vardhate, that alone grows. That asti in a particular form, that alone viparinamate, that alone transforms. That asti in a particular form, that alone apakshiyate, decays. And that asti in a particular form alone vinashyati. So this is the difference between asti that we understand as asti bhati priya. It is not limited to a particular form. The asti bhati priya that we understand. Whereas here, when Tattvabodh talks about the Shad Vikara, it is that uh, that existence in a particular form. For example, a lemon seed asti that will be born only as a uh, plant of lemon, not as a mango plant. So it progresses only in existence and birth and growth and transformation and degradation and death in relation to this existence of this particular form. So that is being conveyed through this asti jayate vardate viparinamate. So what is this stula sharira? It is the one which undergoes through all these 6 changes. So what are the characteristics of stula shariram? First of all, it is made up of pancha mahabhuta, which is grossified. It is born of yes punya karma. Second thing is main element to remember is it is bhoga ayatanam. For all our experiences, it is bhoga ayatanam. It is the abode for experiencing all the experiences. Where do we experience everything? In this body. Then it is subject to birth, it is subject to transformation, subject to all the 6 changes. The changes happen in what? Stula Sharira, that I am not. Then Sukshma Sharira Kim. We didn't go very further. I thought I would cover a lot of stuff, but we didn't. Anyways, how much time do we have? Can we go till 6:15 because we started a little late? People have time till 6:15. Then I can cover Sukshma Sharira.
You said you wanted to leave at 6:10, right? It is already 6:10, Raji.
I'm fine. I mean, I can fine. I just want to see if people are available, then I can for 5-10 minutes I'm available, so I can go for 5 more minutes and then we can stop. So Sukshma Sharira Kim अपंचीकृत पंच महाभूतैः कृतं सत्कर्मजन्यं सुख दुःखादि भोग साधनं पंच ज्ञानेन्द्रियाणि पंच कर्मेन्द्रियाणि पंच प्राणादयः मनः च एकं बुद्धिः च एका एवं सप्तदशा कलाभिः सह यत् तिष्ठति तत् सूक्ष्म शरीरः. So सूक्ष्म शरीर is composed of 17 elements. That is what it is being said. It is also made up of Panch Mahabhuta, but apanchikrita, not grossified. The subtle Panch Mahabhuta, the subtle 5 elements, is what it is composed of. It's also on account of our punya that we have our Sukshma Sharir unified with this Sthula Sharir with this embodiment of human body. And what is it? It is Sukha Dukkhadi Bhoga Sadhanam. It is an instrument. This is an important part. So Sukshma Sharir is an instrument. Sthula Sharir is the abode. Sthula Sharir is the place or location where all the experiences are experienced. Whereas Sukshma Sharir is the instrument, the means through which we experience the experiences. So made up of Panch Mahabhuta, then instrument for experiencing all the experiences. And then what are the 17 elements it is composed of? It's Gnanendriyani, five senses of 5 sense organs, 5 organs of action, 5 prana, and so these form the Bhakya Karana, which is said the external instrument, and then Manaha and Buddhi. These two are Antahakarana, the inner instrument. So the subtle body can be categorized into two: the external means and the internal means, Bhakya Karanam and Antahakaranam. So that makes 17. So why this count? Because this is Sukshma Sharir and this I am not. So, and all our problems are where? Our problems are either in the gross body or mostly in the Sukshma Sharira. So this I am not. So you are talking about all the time problems. Where are the problems? The problems are in the Sukshma Sharira. Problems are at the level of gross body. So you try to be objective and create a distance with all this. That's the prayojanam, intent. So Sukshma Sharira. Then I guess we will have to go through the Gnanendriya, etc. Now let us do the complete. We can start from Karan Sharira tomorrow. Okay. So Gnanendriya. Okay. So what are the 5 organs of perception? Hearing, Shrotram, Twak, touch, Chakshu, perception, Rasana, Granam, Rasna. What is Rasna? Taste, Granam, smell. Iti Pancha Gnanendriyani. Then Shrotrasya Digdeva. Then who are the preceding deities for each of these organs of perception? That is also being told. Why is it told? To show us that there is a connection between what we call individual and what we call cosmic. This is the whole intent of showing us this connection. That there is a preceding deity. That this body doesn't work on its own. When there is the blessing of the devatas, then alone this perception, etc., all functions work. That's the prayojanam. That's the intent. How there is a connectivity, there is integration, there is I'm not getting the word, but it's connected. Everything is connected. The individual is not independent of the cosmic. That's what it's being shown. So then the Devata, Shrotrasya Dig Devata, direction is the preceding deity of hearing. Tvacha Vayuhu. Vayu is the Dig Devata of touch. Chakshushaha Suryaha. Sun is the deity for eyes. Rasanayaha Varunaha. Varunaha is for deity for rasana, taste. Granasya Ashvinau. Ashvinau are the deity for smell. Iti Gnanendriya Devataha. Then what are the Vishaya? What is the scope for all of these organs that is being said? Shrotrasya Vishaya Shabda Grahanam. What does hearing do? It receives sound. What does Tvacha do? It receives touch. Grahanam, Sparsha Grahanam. What does eyes do? It receives form, Rupa Grahanam. Rasanaya, what does that do? Rasa Grahanam, taste. It can sense taste. And what does Grana do? It can receive Gandha, can receive smell. Similarly, Karma Indriya, organs of action. So, Vak, Pani, Pada, Payu, Upasthani, Iti, Pancha Karmendriyani. So, they are listing what all are the organs of action and then what are the preceding deity of each of those. That fire is the deity for speech. Indraha is the deity of hands. Vishnu for feet. Mrityu for Payoho. Prajapati for Upastha. And again, why do we have to study all this or learn this? To just see the connection, to appreciate that connection. And many times, Puja Swamiji will also try to give us meditation so that we can meditate on how the cosmic and individual is connected and how we can try to see Ishvara everywhere. That's the whole Prayojanam. Upasthasya Prajapati. So iti Karmendriya Devata. So these are the preceding deities for the organ of actions. Then what is the scope of these organs? Vachaha Vishaya Bhashanam. So to speak is the scope for the Vani. And then Panayoho Vishaya Vastu Grahanam, Padayoho Gamanam, Payoho Vishaya Manatyaganam. So hands, they grab Padayoho, they walk, etc. So that's pretty clear. I don't think we need to go further into that. And then this last part we will see, and we can start with Avastatraya tomorrow. Karana Shariram Kim Anirvachya Anadi Avidya Sharirad Karanmatram Satswarupa Agnanam Nirvikalpaka Rupam Yadasti Tat Karana Shariram. Anirvachya. What is Karana Sharira? Karana Sharira is basically ignorance. Simple terms. What is that ignorance? Anirvachya. We cannot define that ignorance. So that Anirvachya is the Visheshana for this Anadi Avidya. So what is Karan Shariram? Ignorance about myself alone is Karan Shariram. And what is that ignorance? What kind of that ignorance is? We cannot define that. That is Anirvachya. We cannot say it is or it is not. That is beyond the scope of any definition. What are the characteristics of avidya? It is the cause of both this sharira, namely gross body and subtle body. So that is it that we need to understand here, that it is anirvachya, it cannot be defined. It is the cause of both the gross body and subtle body. Sat Swarupa Agnanam Nirvikalpita Rupam Yadasti Tat Karana Sharira. I don't know my Sat Swarupa. I don't know my true identity, true reality about myself. And the Agnanam, the ignorance about my own nature, that alone manifests as this Karana Shariram. It's not something tangible. It is a concept. It is ignorance about myself. Then why is it called Sharira? Because it can be destroyed. Kshiyate something. Iti Sharira. That was the derivation given. So because avidya can be destroyed, eliminated by knowledge, therefore it is called Karan Shariram. But otherwise, Karan Shariram basically means avidya. So I think we will stop here and we will start from Avastatraya. Okay, so I will go a little faster tomorrow because now we have covered all the basics. But as we move on, please collect any questions you have so that we can compile it. And
One quick question. Do we have the other team also doing the evening time?
there is only one team right now, morning,
Well,
because Rachita ji was the only person I think in the evening, 4 to 5, and so she was
okay,
joining in the morning sessions.
okay.
And yeah, yeah, uh, yeah.
Then another one is next week. We are going to have both Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita. Is that the plan?
That's the plan. So Monday to Thursday we will have Bhagavad Gita, and then Monday to Wednesday will be Bhagavad Gita, and Thursday and Friday we'll start with Kathopanishad.
Is it Isa Upanished? Isa?
No, it's Kathopanishad.
Upanishad? Okay.
We'll start with Swamiji mentioned that we should start with Kathopanishad. Ishavasya will do after completing one or two Upanishads.
Okay.
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 So,
Sounds good. Thank you.
so we will meet the same timing tomorrow.